Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we're starting a new kind of video called Builds and Tips. For this one we're going to be checking different combinations of supporters and weapons that synergize with each other. So, before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share and subscribe if you enjoy the content. So, the first combo that we're going to be checking is going to be a blue combo for ranged attackers with Kaito and Reina. These two supporters are excellent because they increase critical damage for ranged attacks and damage for ranged attacks, as well as critical rate for ranged attacks. So the main supporter is always going to be Kaito, and because of that you don't want to use mixed builds. You can if you really want, but you want to have Kaito on the main. That's the thing. So, let's see. This says increases damage dealt with ranged attacks on snared enemies by 24%, increases critical rate of ranged attacks on snared enemies by 16% for 7 seconds upon scoring a critical hit. This is really good. But the thing is, can you inflict snare? Well, if you have her on the main, yes. Snare up to 4 random enemies for 6 seconds. Apply every 4.5 seconds with a 50% chance. 50% is good enough so that you can rely on this. Unfortunately, at the end of the day, it's random, so you may get unlucky and it procs like rarely. But you can rely on it. And if your character already has a snare, this is gonna be very busted. So, what other supporters can you use with this? There's plenty of options. Generally, you want to go for critical. So, let's say that you decide to go green for a mixed build. If you want to do that, you want to use Suruga, Kaoru. I don't see Kaoru. I guess Kaoru. What else? Maybe you want to use Aane. Aane also works. But you don't want to use anything with a good active or with a good passive in the active. Like, for example, Sora. Because you don't want to put those there. Because you're not going to be ensnaring the enemy if you move Kaito. If you move Kaito. So, mainly you're going to be using pure blue. What are your options? Well, you can go for pure damage with the classic Fuma, Mido Haruka, or Onigumo. You can go with some other niche options like Koharu. Let's see, where is that? Uraru. Uraru is also really good for machines. You can use Lilim if you are using a protect character. You can use Neo Lightning Yukikashi. That's also good if you have her. You can also go for critical rate. Emily Simons, Gunslinger, and also Emily Simons. Those are two good options to increase your critical rate. You can go with, of course, Onisaki Kirara, Blackbeard Onisaki Kirara, Arabella, and there's one more thing that you can equip on this. You can go for something defensive. Sakuya, Nana, or Sakura. Shadow Fairy Sakura. So that's about it for the defensive options. Usually I would recommend Akina. But the thing is, the game style for this is that you want to deal damage far away from the enemy. You don't want to receive hits. If you don't have anything better, you can put a defensive supporter so that you reduce the damage that you take on those rare occasions when the enemy hits you. That's gonna be super good. Unlike Akina, Akina needs the character to take a hit to recover HP. So yeah, it's gonna happen, but you don't want to take hits. So even though it gives you recovery, and even though it would be good if you don't have HP recovery, I do not recommend Akina for this kind of build. There's two more. These are super niche because they are limited, but they are viable. You can use Igawa Sakura Umbra, which increases damage to snare enemies. And you can also use No Abram, which increases damage to snare enemies and reduces damage from snared enemies. So, another thing, on the weapons. There are weapons that you want to use, very specific weapons. The snake weapons are going to be useful because the active that they do deal an AoE that advances and deals damage to all the enemies that are hit in this sludge wave. But you want the snake weapons for ranged attackers. If you haven't redeemed some of the tickets, try to redeem them for things like Tokiko, Asteroth, who else? Yukikaze, and Emily. Particularly Emily would be good. The disadvantage of using these weapons is that they have SR stats, which is not ideal. Let's see, do I have something at S5? Yeah, this is 3,300 and 4,000 critical, and this is 2,700 and 3,200. It is a big gap in stats, but the damage that you can deal with the combo of snare enemy and the active of the weapon compensates the lack of stats. But this only happens once in a while. Overall, the damage is going to be lower, but for F2Ps this is very viable and it is fun to use, I gotta admit. So yeah, that's kind of it. So let's start testing it. Here on tower, I'm gonna be doing floor 75 to start with the weak characters. I'm gonna be using Tokiko first of all, super quickly with the snake weapon, as I said. Full critical damage, perfect Magatamas, whatever Magatamas. This is 4 out of 5 plus 15, but it is just the filler weapon. And this. I'm going to use the basic enhancer to have basics that are range. I'm going to use this one to reduce the defense of the enemy and deal damage, which it doesn't deal that much damage, just so that you know. But this deals a huge amount of damage and it's super great. Whenever you have this, wait for the enemies to gather and then use it. You're gonna explode them. Obviously, I'm gonna be using Kaito and Reina, and one of the best supporters for assist type characters is definitely New Year Felicia, so I'm going to be using her. So yeah, let's go super quick on this so that I can show you a couple of the characters that I prepared. I tested this with many characters, this strategy, but I gotta say it's not the best. I was pretty disappointed with some of the characters. They didn't perform as I wanted to. I mean, they could perform better if they were on a stage like VR with other characters, so that you can equip them with other supporters that inflict snare. There is an SR blue supporter that inflicts snare. It's kind of the same effect as Kaito, but a little bit worse, since it doesn't give damage multipliers or big damage multipliers. So yeah, let's see. I'm just going to do this. Reduce the defense. Attack. And since they are in place, it's time to do the sludge wave. You see how it deals multi-hits? That's super great. It's what makes this combo very strong, because they are not able to move and the sludge wave is not that fast. Okay. There. Nice. I didn't even need to use the active, so yeah. It is, I know, it is not like the best thing in the world. It works, especially because of the stats of the snake weapon, but it is fun to use. I also did with Aane, but Aane is a little bit more difficult. In the case of Aane, I use, this one. Carol, Emily, to get increased critical rate, because my weapons are non-enchanted, both of them. I also have the snake weapon, same Magatamas. I'm using Buster Shot. I'm also using Bullet Storm to deal a ton of hits, and also Suicide Drone. No matter the skill, for almost any build that you prepare using this combo, the blue skill is gonna be fantastic. No matter the effects or the damage, they just synergize too well. Yep. So let's test it. I hope that I can do this quickly because, I mean, she's weak. You just saw that it's non-enchanted. The level is not that great. So, and the basic enhancer is to help me out with the particle charge, so that I can use the active of the weapon. Would you just there? Nice. And yeah, if it procs like twice in a row, it is super busted. That's why I like Kato. Even though it is random, it is consistent enough. By the way, just before I forget, you don't want to use this exact combo for VR. You can use Kato, but you cannot use Reina. I mean, you can on lower steps of VR, but why try to use Crit on VR? There's no point in that. Okay, so like that. I'm also going to use the active. I'm also going to use the active. All the actives. Oh. Let me... There. Come on, snare the enemies. I really need them to be on... there. Like that, on place. Come on. I'm just going to... Well, I don't think I'm gonna be able to beat this. I mean, I could have used the ultimate, but the idea is not to do that. Why I don't see the icons? Let's see. I just want to use the ultimate to stun them a little bit. Like this. And I do this, and I do this, and no, I didn't. I mean, my Aane is weak, but the strategy is viable. With more damage, I would have been able to beat this easily. As I mentioned, my Aane is not ideal for this run. Let's see. In the case of... Who else? Yeah, Sora. Sora is a different story. She's super good for this strategy. And there's two ways in which you can use her. For her, I put... what's the name? Sakura. You can also put... who? Noah. Yeah, Noah. I'm going to put no... Oh my god. Sakura is S2 and Noah is S1, and Noah is enchanted and Sakura isn't, and look at the HP. Well, I'm going to change this just so that I have a little bit more stats. Not that I want to change it for something... like what? She's Protect. I'm gonna use Lilim. She's Protect, right? Yeah, she's Protect. So I'm gonna be using Freykugel. And I'm going to be using the active. I'm also going to be using critical damage. For this, I'm going to use Taimanin Art to increase the particle charge so that I can use Freykugel's active. I'm going to be using... you can use Binding Fox Flame, that's one. And the other option is to use Actually, you can use whichever skill. All of them are good. This one is going to increase your damage output. This one is going to allow you to hit multiple enemies. This one is going to give you a little bit of control. And this one is also going to ensnare the enemy. My two favorites are Foxfire and Binding Fox Flame. So I'm going to be using this one. And this one is for HP recovery only. So you already know the supporters. The Magatamas, this is 5 out of 5 and it's plus 11. And this one is 5 out of 5, non-enchanted. So super quickly, let's see how she performs. Yeah, by the way, these strategies are not ideal for higher steps of tower, like let's say step 100, because you want something even more aggressive, something with higher damage multipliers. Let's see, can I? Yeah, and this is also really good with Sora because it keeps the enemies in place, so you can position yourself properly to hit the most amount of enemies with your skills. There we go. Let's see. Yeah. I'm not going to use the ultimate on this one. I'm going to use the actives. What's the immediately after enemy attack? Yeah. This one. And HP recovery. And the active again. Yeah, the advantage that you get from not being pursued by the enemy with a range attack is really worth it. Okay, another one. A little bit of a snare. The bad thing is that you have to take a hit to activate that snare. But the good thing is that it is... You do have the HP recovery to get back from that attack. Yes. Freykugel, there we go. Wow, 1,000,000 damage, nice. So yeah, Sora is definitely one of the best characters that you can use this with. In fact, I bet that she can do step 100, but not mine. Mine is too weak. She's 77. She still needs more enchantment on the other weapon. So yeah, if you want to try this, she can. Especially because she has HP recovery. There's also Lapis. Lapis can be played as a range attacker. There are some characters that are mixed. There are mixed like, let's say, what's the name? Lina, which you don't want to try this strategy with because she's kind of pure mix. Her attacks do both kind of damage at the same time. And there's mixed like Lapis, which one skill does one kind of damage. So Lapis can do this, but you're gonna be using it like this. I gotta admit, this is not the best. Don't try this on step 100 unless they are plus 15 or super enchanted. I'm also going to be using Lilim, but if I wanted to deal with a higher floor, I would be using something like Nana. Or in case you don't have Nana, you can use Sakuya. For her, I'm going to be using Gem Support because we need the HP recovery. And then there's the Spear Barrage, which is the main damaging skill and the one that is going to take advantage from from the supporters. And then you can use Moral Boost or Crystallize, but I suggest you use Moral Boost because this also deals damage. So you have more ways to deal damage. It is not like a main damaging skill, but it's another hit, and that counts. You can only use a Spear Barrage or Stonebreaker. They activate on the same command. So if you want to go for Stonebreaking, that's fine, but I don't think it is strong enough on blue. Yeah, and Piercing Dash, you don't want to use in this build because we're focusing on range damage. So it wouldn't be affected by any multiplier. So let's see. I'm going to use this and this. Yeah, supporter, weapon skills, everything in order. I'm still going to do it here, even though she's stronger than the other characters that I show, because she cannot... this kind of strategy is not strong enough as I have it with... on step... on floor 100. Yeah, it is strong. It will clear events, it will clear dailies, it will clear part of tower. But the most difficult floors, no, that's not gonna be this is not gonna be what you use for floor 100. You need more HP recovery, more defense. And an enemy like Edwin, which has long range attacks, is still able to hit you, so that's a problem. This strategy is not great for enemies that abuse long range attacks, by the way. Okay. Like that, yeah. You see how the flag is actually really good? Okay, this and the flag, and another thing that you can do is, while depending on the character, if they do a barrage of attacks, you can, while the attacks are being performed and when they break super armor, you can just start doing basic attacks to the enemy. Oh, come on. There, like that. It didn't let me put the flag. Well, now it's done. Flag. There you go. So yeah, Lapis can recover here, but on something higher, because I already tried this on step 100, it is very annoying, because you don't get enough HP recovery, and you don't have enough control or damage reduction with this kind of a strategy. Let's see. I'm gonna show you Micah. Micah is adorable, to say the least. This can work, but to be honest, there's a point, depending on how strong you are, where this is not going to work anymore. Because Megiddo Flame is an attack that locks you in place. You can change the direction, but you're not going to be able to move. You cannot cancel it. So what can you do? Instead of using this on solo content, try to use it on those events that have multiple Taimanin, that you have to use a team, and go for a snare strategy. You can also use this on BR, but as I said, you wouldn't use Reina. It would be a different kind of combination. Because the snare goes super well with Megiddo Flame, but it is not consistent enough that you can abuse Megiddo Flame specifically. And it doesn't snare enough enemies. That's also a thing. For those who want to know, you would use this one. Use Riha for VR or for what else? For the event that have multiple Taimanin, a team event. So we're gonna be using Megiddo Flare and Carpet Bombing. This because increases critical, no, increases damage, while and it also has a good AoE. This because of the absurd amount of damage, and we're gonna be using Crimson Lotus, but honestly, there's no good skill to put on the last slot. The Taimanin art is trash. The Crimson Lotus is trash. We cannot equip Ruthless Explosion because it's the same command as Megiddo. Grenade Launcher cannot be equipped because it's the same command as Carpet Bombing. And this one is a counter. I don't want to use a counter on a range attacker. So yeah, especially when it doesn't provide a good effect like a Snare. That's what made... what's the name of the other? That's what made Sora salvageable. I'm going to change this for Nana because even so we're at risk due to Megiddo Flame. So we want to reduce the amount of damage we take. So yeah. Let's see. The first thing that we need to do is just not that. I needed to avoid an attack. There, like that. Okay, come on. Come on, like this. Excellent. Yes, there we go. You see, it is super good for cleaning all the mobs. And it also can melt enemies, Megiddo Flame. Like that. Okay, okay, okay. Yes! Like that. Perfect. Yeah, one down, two to go. Oh, one to go. Okay. Yeah, that's what I like Megiddo Flame. This wouldn't have gone so well against floor 100. I already tried it. Due to the large amount of HP, the big amount of enemies, the big quantity of enemies, because of all of that, and the fact that she doesn't have natural HP recovery, Micah cannot beat step 100 with this strategy. But you know who can? One of the best characters to use this strategy. Emily. Emily is busted with this strategy. Why? Because she has enough healing. And her main blue, just like Sora, provides healing. It also... what's the term? Knocks up the enemy. Yeah, it knocks up the enemy. I'm using Zero System because I'm lazy and I don't want to push the button. But you can change it if you want to push the button. You can change it for Aegis Tackle. You can change it for Ground Shocker or Homing Bullet. So, we're going to do this on 100 just to show you. I also tried with different characters like similar to Lapis that are mixed with one kind of attack per skill. I tried with Heviko since she can also snare naturally, but I gotta admit her damage was not good enough. Heviko relies heavily on her pure color skills to deal damage. She can be a support character with mixed builds, no problem. And now, look at this. This skill is going to deal a ton of damage. It's just super great. But it deals the most damage when the enemy is snared. So try to wait for the enemy to be snared. Or use it as a recovery tool. That also works. Okay, I am stunned. Okay, nice, nice, nice. There we go. And Edwin is also going to be... the good thing about being afflicted with confusion when using Emily is that she doesn't really care, because she auto-targets the enemy with the basic attacks. So yeah, that's no problem. As you can see, Emily is extremely busted. Both, I don't like that the most useful characters are the ones that have HP recovery on the main blue. Because I think that naturally Emily already has an advantage thanks to Healing Wave. And Sora has an advantage thanks to the snare ability, the snare counter. Well, not that much. Now that I think about it, the fact that it's a counter really diminishes the value. If not for the HP recovery, it wouldn't be as good. But let's say that it was not a counter. In that case, if it was the effect of a normal attack, it would be really good, even without the healing. Let's see. I don't want to deal with the mobs. HP recovery. Yeah, I mean, you can always abandon Healing Wave and go for more damage, because technically I don't need it. But it is just safe to do so. And even when receiving these hits, I am perfectly fine, as you can see. Oh, I wasn't able to do the last attack, but I mean, it works. Let's see, there's one more character, if I'm not mistaken. Asteroth, definitely. Let me check before I finish with Asteroth. Oh, Eleanor. Eleanor can also perform well, but similar to Micah, since she doesn't have HP recovery, she can deal... I'm gonna show her on 75, but she struggles a lot against too many enemies with high HP. A stage like floor 100 is not ideal for her. I'm not going to try Yuki. Yuki... my Yuki is weak. If Aine is weak, my Yuki is weak. It's even weaker. So, let's see. Since I'm on 100, let's do it with Asteroth. Asteroth is super easy to use. Where is she? Here. But I'm not going to use this support if I'm doing 100. I'm going to be using something different. Like, anything can work. Even this that gives me speed increase. It's not that big of a deal, the speed increase. So, yeah, I'm going to put this. Oh yeah, I forgot the build. For the build, we're using, of course, the basic enhancer. I decided to go for Flamethrower. It's my favorite. I always go for this. But if you want to change it for the long one, that's also fine. I'm using Supernova, as you can see. This easily deals with the enemies. And I'm using Lava Serpent. The weapon, I don't know if it's Nifrinka. It shouldn't be Nifrinka. It should be... Arachne's bracelet. I don't know the name of that weapon, but it is the one that it's anti-demon. But why do I use it? Because it also enhances the lava serpent. That's why I decided to go with it. Yeah, mobility along with the snare is also really strong. There. So using Lapis is also a viable option, but more for Asteroth than anyone, because thanks to the auto-targeting of her turret attack, she doesn't have to deal with positioning, with facing. It is super good. Let's see. Like this. Supernova. Just a couple more. Yes, like that. I'm not going to use Supernova to eliminate it right now. I want the cooldown. I'm going to start with Supernova, and then I'm going to use the ulti, and then I'm going to Supernova and evade to use Lava Serpent and ultimate. Come, ultimate. And then I use Supernova again. Not yet. Okay, active. Here I have a couple potions. Good thing that I have the plants, the lava servants. Did I say lava serpent? Well, I mere lava servant. One more. Yeah, that speed increase is really appreciated and so wow. Well, yeah, that's why I say this is really strong. But when you get to something this strong, like in floor 100, you really need outrageous damage or HP recovery. If you don't have HP recovery, this is gonna fall short in most situations. Especially when the enemy has range attacks. This is good for enemies that have predictable range attacks, that they only attack to the front, that you can easily avoid them. But something with tracking capabilities like Edwin's sight, no, you don't want that. The missiles from the WS squad that the stage throws at you, does that still happen? I don't remember. Well, those are terrible too. Let's see. Yeah, so I'm not going to do that again with Asteroth. I don't want to waste your time. I'm going to do Eleanor, but as I mentioned, similar to Micah, she is not going to perform well on step 100. So I'm going to reduce that to 75. Here, 75. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Very quickly, what weapons do I have? Yeah, I do have the one that enhances Lava Serpent. And a Supernova, Lava Serpent, Fire Wave, which you can change for the other one. But even so, it would have been better to use Fire Blast instead of Fire Wave, especially considering the sight. But you do want speed increase if you're going to use that. You want the mobility to escape from that side. Anyways, let's go with... Where is she? Yeah, Eleanor. For Eleanor, I have the weapons as usual. This is 5 out of 5 plus 15, 5 out of 5 plus 13. This is not going to affect the gameplay at all. I'm not going to be using the red skill. I'm going to use Maelstrom, Acid Rain, and Geyser Burst. All of these are range attacks that deal damage. And since Eleanor is green, I'm going to be using Felicia. And yeah, that's it. Super easy. You're going to notice that this is very, very good for Eleanor. She's a mid-range attacker, so getting control over the enemy, where they are going to be, it is just particularly good for someone like her. Yeah. Almost done. Nice. So yeah, as you can see, I am destroying the enemies, but without HP recovery. I wouldn't count on beating floor 100. Because of the amount of HP that the enemy has, and the fact that there are 3 waves with bosses. No, wait, 2 waves with bosses. There. Come on. Nice. No, I want to snare the bosses. Yeah, like this. Perfect. 1 down. 2 down. 3 down. Yeah, the damage is absurd. As you can see, I can really give a punch to those bosses, but I am not doing that on step 100, on floor 100. Yeah, it's just annoying not to having HP recovery. So yeah, I also did a build for Heaviko, but I'm not showing that. It was terrible, as I mentioned. Yeah, because though Heaviko synergizes, her blue skill is going to be melee, and that's the problem with her. She's not going to be receiving the benefit from this. I mean, you can use this as a damaging skill, but since you're not taking into consideration the multipliers or the bonuses from 2 supporters, even though it's strong, it's not going to be as strong as it usually as it should be. So yeah, so that's the combo, guys. That's the idea. You can use this in many different ways, but my recommendation is that you always try to go for pure blue. The option to go with green or red with supports that enhance critical or pure damage is also viable. I mean, using Fuyutsuki gives you a ton of damage, so that can compensate for certain things. But I mean, it is a good combo. I like it. So tell me, guys, have you ever used this combo? Do you think it is good? Do you think that I should be doing more? Are you interested in any other particular combos? So let me know in the comments, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye.